Welcome to the culture. We rest at the pulse of the community, providing all things news, music, fashion, events, and everything that we talk about in between. It's a lifestyle. We are the culture. Hi, and welcome to another edition of The Culture. I'm your host, Jessica Garrett Modkins. Hey, the Adrienne Arsht Center for the Performing Arts of Miami-Dade County is pleased to announce the return of Free Gospel Sundays starting this Sunday. And here to kick them off for this new season is Grammy Stellar Dove Award winner, Jekalyn Carr. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for coming and joining us.
I thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We are too, and all of the Miamians will come out to Free Gospel Sunday to hear all of the wonderful music that you have. So let's start off with how you started. How I read that you've been in this business since you were 15. Is that true?
Well, professionally, I released my breakout single, Greater Is Coming, at the age of 15, but I actually been singing since I was 5. And I've just been going strong ever since then. I always knew this was my passion. This is what I wanted to do. And actually, I remember telling God at a very young age, I want to give your people hope. I want to inspire them through the gifts you placed in me. And to be able to wake up every day knowing that my music is across the world, playing on someone's radio, someone's podcast, just traveling across the world and just doing what I love to do and operating in purpose, it is a dream come true for me. And so, yeah, again, I've been going since I was 5. And it's just never been a dull moment. My journey has been beautiful. Not to say there weren't challenges, but it's been beautiful.
Awesome. So tell us, how do you go from loving to sing, I'm sure at home and in church, to then putting out a record that ends up kind of changing the face of gospel music?
Yeah, it was it was a big change for me to a certain degree because actually um it was really my speaking that catapulted everything for me. I had been traveling across the world for 2 years, beginning at the age of 13, before I even released Greater Is Coming. And it was like, God was like, take care of this first, accept this calling first, and then I'm going to bring it back around for you. And so it was just a beautiful thing. And so it's just being able to just show the world, and just see, so that the world can see what can happen when you just say yes to purpose, say yes to what you were born to do, and just to watch how many people were inspired and connected to my assignment and is connected to my assignment. It's just been beautiful.
Awesome. Awesome. I just cannot imagine that journey. And, God doesn't give you more than you can bear. So
Um,
clearly, He knew what was in store for you, and you knew it as well. So I know that this is not the end of your journey. I'm sure that there are other chapters, but I really want to focus on the gospel music. But
mhm,
you mentioned something. You said you're speaking. You
mhm.
are a notable speaker. Tell us about the speaking engagements that you've had, and what is that platform?
So, as I said before, I started singing at 5, and I actually thought that was all that I was going to do. But then at the age of 13, God began to speak to me, and He said, there's more that I require of you. And He said, you are to evangelize. Then and there, I accepted my calling of speaking. When I tell you, ever since the age of 13, I have not had a void schedule. God literally catapulted my ministry. It's like, literally, it was like a light switch almost. That's the way that I can describe it, although I had to go through my shaking, beating, and pressing before that. um but to just watch that just be like literally the foundation that he used for my ministry. And then when I came out with my breakout single Greater Is Coming, people started to say, oh, you're the one that preach, or you're the one that sing greater. So they started, to merge the two together, and to realize that I'm the same person. I was the same person. But it's just been beautiful. And I tell people all the time, a lot of times when there's multiple layers to your life, when you have multiple gifts, sometimes you have to really seek God on what He wants to use in that season, in that time, to get you to where you need to be. And then He brings it back around to just take you even further and even higher with your other gifts. And so, I'm still experiencing that to this very day, the speaking, the singing, the fashion. It's just a radio host, so many layers now. And it was all because I said yes to my speaking.
And how do you tell those who may be out there listening to the words of encouragement that you're giving them, who can identify with having multi gifts? How do
Mm,
you tell them to be quiet
mm,
and not really dismissing one of them, but just being quiet and remaining patient
yeah.
and just listening and being obedient to God's words. What are some ways that they could go about taking that advice that you've given them?
Well, one thing I realize is that anytime you're impatient, or it's like you feel like you have to move, you have to do things when God is telling you to wait, a lot of times it's because we really don't trust Him. Because if you trust Him, you will sit back and you will watch Him work. And it's challenging at times. You feel like, wait a minute, God, you said this, you said that, and it seems like everything is looking the complete opposite. Well, I'm here to tell you, everything looked the complete opposite for us. But because we waited, there's this thing that I preached a sermon when I first started preaching, and I talked about the waiting place where God has you, and that's the place of preparation. A lot of times you think you're waiting, you think it's a delay. No, sometimes God needs to prepare you, because He's not going to give you something that you're not ready for. He's not going to position you in a place that you hadn't been equipped for. And so to watch how God, honored our wait, because that's what He does in your way. He's not just going to have you waiting, but He's going to repay you double for every time you had to wait, every time you had to prepare, you had to get ready. And just to let you know, no, I'm going to honor my word concerning you. So keep on being patient and trust God. Trust Him with your life. He's the writer of your destiny. And because He wrote it, He knows what He wants to do with your life. So that makes it easier for you to say, okay, God, I sit back, and only if you tell me to do something, I'll do it.
Now, you just said the answer to this question that I'm going to ask, but I'm going to ask it because I want to make it plain for those of us that are here listening to you minister through this broadcast.
Mhm.
What do people need to do when they are looking at a situation as if it is a closed door?
Mm.
But
A lot of time, well, and I will say sometimes it's hard to recognize or to distinguish, and that's why it's very important that you know God and you have a relationship with Him, and you converse with Him. Where am I? It's okay to talk to, and it's okay to not know. That's what He's there for. He wants to guide you, He wants to lead you, He wants to give you instructions, because He wants the best for you. He will never leave you, where you are. He's always faithful to make sure you're where you're supposed to be. So if you're ever at a place to where you don't know what season you're in, you don't know whether the door is supposed to be closed or it's just a stubborn door and won't open, seek the voice, seek the face of God, and ask God, because He's going to tell you. Because the thing about it is, anything that God wants to get to you, he's going to get it to you. Again, we just have to make sure we position ourselves to hear him and to know, because when you seek him, you know how to fight. You know how to go to war. You know what to do to make sure that if it is a door that's supposed to be open, it opens for you.
Jekalyn, what is a normal day for you? When you wake up in the morning, what's your ritual? What do you do?
So I have I wear multiple hats. So really I can't say, but it really depends on the day. When I am home, I am a radio host. And so I normally get up around 7:50. I do a little cardio. And then I get ready, go to the radio station, leave there. I go to the gym to get trained. And then if I have appointments, I go to my appointments, things like that. Interviews. I mean, like my day really varies because, again, I just wear multiple hats. But it's never a dull one. I can tell you that much.
Now you mentioned fashion before. How does that fit into the car brand?
hmm So I've always loved fashion. Ever since I was a little girl, I was in my mama's heels. I was trying on the clothes, just all these things. Um, and so it's just something that I always knew that I would be into or I will go into. It's just all about, again, the right timing. And so now I'm being able to do that and to kind of give people a sneak peek into my fashion world, in conjunction with my beauty company, Jekalyn Beauty, because I launched that last year in July. And so being able to really wear that hat of entrepreneurship and just all of that fashion, it's just been beautiful and people seem to love it. The product is amazing because I'm all about quality. I've just never been big on selling things, put my name on it and selling it. No, I'm very, I because I know how I like to buy. I know how I like for my product to be when I'm purchasing from other companies. And so I like to make sure that same respect there is there for my customers. And so, yeah, it's definitely multiple layers, fashion, beauty, all that.
And where can people go to look at some of the things that you have to offer?
Yes, so you can log on to Jekalyn Beauty. That is Jekalyn beauty.com. I have my skincare line, I have my hair care line, and I have my fragrances. Jekalyn
Oh, nice.
for him, yes. Hmm.
Fragrances as well.
And so the
Wow.
fragrances was actually the first thing that I released from my company in July of 2021. That was the first launch. And then it was the skincare. And then after that, it was the hair care.
Nice.
So we're constantly evolving, constantly working on new things. And yeah, I love it.
Multiple revenue streams. That's what we love here at the culture. And then you're an author as well, right?
Yes, yes. I wrote my first book a few years ago called You Will Win, and I'm actually in the process of getting ready to work on another one. But You Will Win, what people don't know is it was a book before it was a song. And so and people really caught on to that winning identity or that winner's identity, the champion's identity that we have and that we were born with. It's just all about us tapping into it. So much so that, again, it expanded into a song, and then it expanded into me having my You Will Win conference. So what I would do is I would travel from, I would have it in different cities, and I was actually getting ready to do it in 2020, the year COVID hit.
Okay.
Uh, and we had to cancel it, but I still wanted to create a way where people were still, especially during that time, encouraged. So I did my e-course and all of that. Now we're about to get it back up and rolling, and I'm excited about it. It is time. People have been asking about it. It's coming back. So yes, the book, the song, it's just all about, again, helping people to really identify that winner, that champion on the inside of them. It is not supposed to be where your struggle is defeating you. It's supposed to be the other way around, and you're conquering it, and not just conquering it, but you being a strong testimony to the world that if hey, God did it for me, he can do it for you.
Absolutely. Amen. And as soon as you said the name of your book, of course, now for the rest of your interview, all I could hear is you singing the song in my head. I can't even stop. I can't turn it off. It's almost as like it's overpowering our conversation right now because it's all in my head. I love that. That is my favorite song. Just it reminds me of when I wake up every day. I have to reset my mind. I have like 6 pages of declarations. And speaking those words of encouragement to myself because I can be my biggest enemy.
Yeah.
And that's what your song does for anybody that listens to the lyrics of those songs, of that song. It just speaks into who we are as a people and how we should perceive ourselves. So
Yeah.
now do some of the songs, have you written them as well?
Yeah, so all of my writing is in-house. Either I write it, my dad write it, my mom write it. We write it together.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own family record label. We are literally um I've been independent since I came out. And so yeah, to just put out song, I never would have thought, it would be this big, and just to see the hand of God has just been amazing. Again, my ultimate goal was to really encourage, empower, and inspire God's people.
Which is what you do. You are doing it. And then for your Miami fans, what
Mhm.
can they expect from you this weekend?
I am going to do all of your favorites. I promise you, you guys put in your requests before time, and I'm going to do my best to do Jehovah Jireh. You will win. You're bigger. It's yours. Like, I'm going to do my best to do them for you. I'm so excited about this. I'm excited about what our center is doing, and to be able to kick off this 16th season. It is just a blessing, and to say that it is free, where everybody is invited. It's a lot that has happened, stuff that is still happening, and not just around us, but some in their own personal lives. And to be able to come together and give them something that they can carry on and encourage them and push them, I'm excited about it. So get ready, be prepared. I'm all about ministry, you guys. We're going to have fun, but I don't want you to leave without Jesus. I don't want you to leave empty. So we're going to have a little bit of it all.
Amen. Awesome. Now, before you go, you can't leave without telling everyone how they can follow you on social media so they can stay up to date on all of the things that you're doing.
Absolutely. You can follow me on every platform. I made it easy for you at Jekalyn Carr, JekalynCarr with the blue check mark. If it doesn't have the blue check mark, it is not me. YouTube Jekalyn Carr. Everything is Jekalyn Carr.
Okay, and then for your music, is it also just readily available across the cost
Yeah,
platforms?
it's available everywhere for you all. Apple Music, wherever Android, whatever they use, everywhere. It's about Spotify, anywhere music is, you can find Jekalyn Carr.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming to join us. And Culture Family, check her out at our center this weekend. It's free. Free Gospel Sundays at the Our Center has launched, and she is kicking it off. And I also want to invite you to come back later on tonight. Join us for My Two Cents for another edition starting at, of course, 6 p.m. Come back for all the shenanigans. We love you, and we'll see you tonight.
The Culture is produced and owned by the Culture Media Group and